Good morning. Can I ask you to please take your seats? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to CalRecycle's December monthly public meeting. I have nothing in terms of a director's report this morning. Is there anyone who would like to speak on any items that are not on the agenda this morning? Okay, seeing none. Carrie, you're up.
Thanks, Scott. The first item for MMLA is the state agency and large state facility AB 75 diversion program compliance. This is the 2015-16 biennial review. And pursuant to the requirements of Public Resources Code section 41921, that state agencies and large state facilities divert at least 50% of their solid waste, staff is submitting the biennial report findings for this past fiscal year of 2015-2016 for 228 reporting state agencies and large state facilities. Please note that this total does not include one state agency, which is 1A District Agricultural Association, that's continuing to be on a corrective action plan with the Jurisdiction and Compliance Unit. CalRecycle staff have reviewed the waste diversion activities reported by each of these 228 state agencies and large state facilities, including their compliance with the mandatory recycling law, as well as the first time state agencies have started reporting on their implementation of the mandatory commercial organics recycling law. This was the first cycle that state agencies were to report. In particular, if a state agency or large state facility was meeting the threshold of 8 cubic yards per week of organics, they were to report if they were implementing a program or not. You'll find in this request for approval, there are 9 state agencies and facilities that were found to have program gaps regarding their organics recycling programs. These state agencies and facilities were informed of the gap by CalRecycle staff, and like jurisdictions with the at any time review, were provided 30 days to provide us a plan as to how they would correct the gap. The analysis and findings for these 9 agencies are included in the request for approval. All of the agencies, I'm glad to report, responded with appropriate information, and they will be monitored by staff over the next 12 months to ensure that they are implementing their mandatory organics programs. In addition to these agencies, and as part of this review, 47 of the state agencies are also being recommended for a finding of non-compliance due to gaps in their procurement of recycled content products. These 47 agencies were referred to the Department of General Services Purchasing Authority Unit for compliance review. These agencies will be asked to submit a plan of correction to CalRecycle to address their procurement gaps. That's it for this item. Before I conclude, I want to give a big thanks to Robin Williams, Ashley Yee, and John Duke for leading CalRecycle State Agency Program. And I'll ask if there are any questions. Seeing no questions, Howard will be signing this request for approval. Next up for MMLA are the grant and loan programs. And first is the award for the Rubberized Pavement Grant Program. This RFA announces the awards for the 9th cycle of the Rubberized Pavement Grant Program for fiscal year 17-18. This program pays for rubberized asphalt concrete material in public works projects that use recycled waste tires in road repair and resurfacing. CalRecycle received 36 applications requesting $5.9 million, and we approved 34 of those for a total of $5.8 million. 2 applications partnered with other cities, totaling almost $800,000. This program was undersubscribed by about $1.9 million. Proposed changes to program criteria will be considered at the January meeting. This was delegated to Howard, and it's already been approved by Howard, so this is just an update. And I'd like to give a shout out to the staff who worked on this, and that is Calvin, Ron, Nate, Jamie, Lito, Victoria, Farah, and Chris. So thank you all so much for your hard work. The next one is the awards for the Tire-Derived Aggregate Grant Program. This is to announce the awards for the 8th cycle of the Tire-Derived Aggregate Grant Program for fiscal year 17-18. This program pays for tire-derived aggregate-related expenses for projects that use recycled waste tires in place of conventional construction material for civil engineering applications. To recap this RFA, we received one application that was awarded for $439,000 to Yuba County to construct retaining walls for storm-damaged roadway repairs. Again, this is also delegated to Howard, and this has already been approved by Howard. Again, I'd like to thank the staff, Calvin, Ron, Albert, Melissa, Lito, Victoria, Farah, and Chris. You guys have been doing a lot of hard work. The third grant program is the award for the Tire Incentive Program. This is to announce the awards for the 5th cycle of the Tire Incentive Program for fiscal year 17-18. This is an incentive grant program to eligible manufacturers that expands demand for value-added tire-derived products. CalRecycle received 6 applications. We awarded nearly $2.3 million, estimated to use 20.8 million pounds of crumb rubber, or the equivalent of 1.7 million tire equivalents. Of particular interest in this first application to recycle end-of-life crumb rubber from synthetic turf infill. Shaw Sports Turf California Incorporated proposes to recycle 4.9 million pounds in a new and innovative recycled crumb rubber intermixed base layer for new synthetic turf fields. This also has been delegated to Howard, and he has already approved this item. And I'd like to give special thanks to the staff who worked on this. That is Nick, Noel, Calvin, Ron, and Aloysa. And that's it for me for now.
Thank you, Kara. Any questions on those last items? Kara? Okay, thanks a lot. Mr. DeBee.
Thank you, Scott. Jeff Hackett is here today to go through the solid waste facility permits and tire permits. Sue Markey is out. As you might recall, she has been slowly recovering from a broken leg, and she's back in doing additional surgery to hopefully result in a better outcome. But so Jeff is here covering. Jeff?
Lucky me. And good morning, everybody, and happy holidays. The items continuing on from last month's agenda are the Central Processing Facility in Contra Costa County, and this is for a modified solid waste facilities permit, and action is needed by December 31st this year. New to this month's agenda is the Newbie Island Compost Facility in Santa Clara County. This is for a revised solid waste facilities permit, and action is needed by January 29th, 2018. The proposed revision will allow for a decrease in the permanent maximum tonnage from 980 tons to 700 tons per day, a change in the composting methodology from open windrows and covered aerated static piles to just covered aerated static piles, and updates to the report of composting site information. Next is the El Corazon Compost Facility in San Diego County. This is for a modified solid waste facilities permit. Action date's been updated to February 13th, 2018. This proposed modified permit will allow for administrative updates to the permit, such as references to supporting documents, including the updated report of composting site information and odor impact minimization plan. Next is the Eastern Regional Material Recovery Facility in Placer County. This is for a revised solid waste facilities permit, and action is needed by February 4th, 2018. The proposed revision will allow for an increase to the operating hours from Monday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and updates to the supporting documents. Next is the Kern Valley Recycling and Transfer Station in Kern County. This is for a modified solid waste facilities permit, and action is needed by February 6, 2018. The proposed modification will allow for the removal of the permitted traffic volume limit of 330 vehicles per day. The traffic will be regulated as per Title 14 California Code of Regulations, Section 17418.3. Next is the Innovative Waste Control in the City of Vernon, and this is for a modified solid waste facilities permit, and action is needed by February 9th, 2018. The proposed modification will incorporate the new 2017 Transfer Processing Report as a governing document and other non-material updates to the permit. There will be no changes to the operating hours or permitted daily tonnage. For the tires, and continuing from last month, is Lake and Tires West, Inc. in Los Angeles County, and this is for a major waste tire facilities permit. Action is needed by March 18th, 2018. Since the publication of the agenda, there's been 3 emergency waivers that have been granted by LEA since last month's meeting related to the recent fires in Southern California. The first is for the Simi Valley Landfill and Recycling Center in Ventura County. Next is the El Sobrante Landfill in Riverside County. And lastly is the Bradley East Processing and Transfer Station in the City of Los Angeles. Are there any questions or comments?
I have one question, Jeff. Those waivers, are they, just for general interest here, maybe you explain to people, are they operating hours, increased tons, allowing of ash, or?
Yeah, it varies a bit here. So for the Simi Valley waiver, it was for an increase in tonnage. And actually that one was due for the Thomas Fire and the temporary closure of the Tolan Road landfill during the fires. So that one, it looks as though they're either going to extend it or it just finished up on the 16th.
Traders
And then for
are
El
always looking.
Sobrante, that one was for the traffic limit and tonnage limit, but the LEA, I just got an email this morning, is they are canceling that one because they're not going to need it for now. Okay? And then for Bradley, on the Bradley one, it's due to the temporary closure of the Lopez Canyon composting activity, and they're basically extending the hours and the tonnage, and that's through middle of January. And I'd just also like to thank the entire branch for the permitting assistance for all the great work this last year, and to Harley Branch in our legal office for all of his great work on all of our staff reports as well. So thank you to the entire group.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. And I jumped in there. Were there any other questions? Members of the public? No? Okay. Thanks a lot. And we wish Sue a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
Is that it for you, Mark? Sorry? Is that it for you? Okay, thanks. I think we'll do carpet next.
Perfect. While staff are making their way up for the Carpet Stewardship Program Advisory Committee item, I would like to announce the workshop this afternoon. That workshop is from 1:30, to 3:30 today, and that's to discuss eligibility, scoring criteria, and the evaluation process for CalRecycle's Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund grant program. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Allison Williams. She will be providing an update on the director's appointment of the Carpet Stewardship Program Advisory Committee members. Allison, turn it to you.
Wait just a moment while we're getting my presentation up, but I'm Allison Williams, and I'll be presenting staff's recommendation regarding director appointments for the Carpet Stewardship Program Advisory Committee. I'll talk a little bit about the purpose and the duties of the committee, the stakeholder categories that are represented, provide a list of the recommended appointees, and then just go over a couple next steps. The duties of the advisory committee specified in AB 1158 include reviewing carpet stewardship plans, plan amendments, and annual reports, and providing comments and recommendations to the carpet stewardship organization and to the department based on their review of the materials. The stewardship organization will then incorporate the advisory committee's recommendations into the plan, amendment, or annual report before submitting it to the department. Or if they're unable to incorporate the recommendations, then the stewardship organization or manufacturer will provide a written explanation to the department and the advisory committee that details whether they plan to incorporate those changes in a future document. Also, just to be clear, these aren't paid positions, but members will be reimbursed for travel and other expenses associated with the performance of their duties. AB 1158 states that the advisory committee may be composed of individuals in the environmental community, solid waste industry, local government, carpet collectors, processors, and recyclers, and other interested parties as determined by the director. The director shall appoint one member who represents carpet manufacturers and at least one member who represents either the Southern or Northern California Joint Apprenticeship Training Committee. The Speaker of the Assembly and the Senate Committee on Rules will also appoint one additional member. To be considered for appointment to the advisory committee, CalRecycle encouraged stakeholders to send us a letter by November 10th describing their interest in serving on the committee, as well as their qualifications for the duties that I described in a previous slide. After careful review and evaluation of applications from many knowledgeable and qualified candidates, here is a list of staff's recommended appointees. If anyone's interested in more information, including the affiliations of these individuals, you may refer to the request for approval located on the public notice for this item. I'll just pause here for a minute so everyone has a chance to review all of these. And as far as next steps, Director Smithline will review staff's recommendation, determine whether he agrees or if he'd like to make any changes. And as soon as members are confirmed, CalRecycle will be in touch with the appointees to ensure that members are able to quickly organize and be prepared to review and provide comments on CARES plan in early 2018. We intend to directly notify all applicants of the director's appointment as soon as a decision is made, and we'll post a list of appointees on CalRecycle's website. AB 1158 will be effective on January 1st, 2018, so that'll be the official start date of the advisory committee. And CARE has shared its intention to submit a draft plan to the advisory committee no later than January 8th, with an expectation that the advisory committee provide comments and recommendations to CARE and the department within 30 days. Then, to the extent feasible, CARE will incorporate the recommendations into the plan before submitting it to the department, or it'll explain whether recommendations will be incorporated in a future plan or plan amendments. No later than March 16th, 2018, that plan will be submitted to CalRecycle. And then at that time, the department will review and make a determination whether to approve, disapprove, or conditionally approve CARES plan. And here's my contact info. If you have any questions, I encourage you to use our shared email box, carpet@calrecycle.ca.gov. Lots of people monitor it, and we can ensure a swift reply. Oh.
Thanks, Allison. Can I get a show of hands of folks who are interested in making comment on this item today? Okay, that's fine. Do we have the mics working, or would you? Okay, can we do that? Thanks a lot. Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Hi, good morning. Kelly McBee with the environmental group Californians Against Waste. In my brief comments this morning, I just wanted to express gratitude to the department for what we feel is a very strong new recommended advisory committee. Californians Against Waste, along with many other organizations in this room, supported AB 1158 and worked to get the bill signed into law. I do want to highlight that when the bill was amended to specifically carve out a role for a carpet manufacturer, the goal of that new position was that that be filled by a forward-thinking representative, and so we feel that the appointment or recommended appointment of Eric Nelson of Interface is very much aligned with the legislative intent of that bill. I do think that this new advisory committee will help propel the recycling rate of this program and the environmental protection that we think it's capable of, and we very much look forward to getting started. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Good morning, Trent Smith on behalf of Mohawk Carpet. We would actually request that the CalRecycle add another member to the committee, one that represents a traditional carpet manufacturer. Has been stated, there is a representative from Interface. They manufacture carpet tiles, which is a very small segment of the California market, very small segment of the carpet sold in California. We think the committee would benefit from having a representative from a traditional carpet manufacturer, and would be happy to work with CalRecycle to put some names forward for consideration.
Okay, thank you, Trent.
Randy Pollock on behalf of the Carpet and Rug Institute, and I align my comments with Mr. Smith. But I'd also like to add that we're also very concerned in talking with carpet manufacturers about the whole time frame here. As we know, 1158 set up a goal of reaching 24% by January 1st, 2020. When we look at the progression of how this is going to play out, is that CalRecycle won't receive the plan until March. They have 60 days in order to review the plan. So we're looking at about a year and a half to try to double our rates. We believe that's going to be very unrealistic, and there are many carpet companies who are very concerned about enforcement activities against them in 2020. So we'd like to try to work with CalRecycle and the other supporters of 1158 to figure out how we can address those concerns, because a year and a half to try to double rates we think is very unrealistic, and I'd like to see what other program has been able to double their rates in such a short time. Thank you.
Randy.
Hi, my name's Gail Bryce. I want to thank the staff for recommending me to the Advisory Council. I'm the team leader for a new carpet recycling facility that's being constructed in Southern California. That facility will expand the processing capacity in California by 40 million pounds, create 65 new California jobs, and also provide the greenhouse gas emission reduction equivalent of planting 2.5 million trees and the carbon sequestered from those trees for 10 years. But I'd also like to support the recommendation of Eric Nelson as the mill representative, as the manufacturing representative on the council. Eric is uniquely qualified, as he has been supportive of the California Carpet Stewardship Program since its inception, and his organization supported AB 1158. Additionally, besides representing carpet manufacturing, Interface is fully committed to carpet-to-carpet recycling and is working to expand the carpet tile recycling program in California. Eric has also provided excellent leadership as the chairman of the California Council on Carpet Recycling, of which I also served. So thank you again for my recommendation, and I'm confident that we are at a turning point in the carpet stewardship program in California, which will hopefully serve as a template for carpet recycling for the rest of the country. And I'd just like to add a little comment. If it's decided that there's an additional manufacturing representative that's added, please choose someone who has been supportive of the California Carpet Stewardship Program and not somebody who has worked against it, and also somebody who has been supportive of carpet recycling across the United States, where over 3 billion pounds of carpet is still going to landfill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Heidi Sanborn. I'm the Executive Director of the California Product Stewardship Council, and our affiliated organization, the National Stewardship Action Council, was the sole sponsor of AB 1158 that created this committee. It is our highest priority to ensure that AB 1158 is fully implemented so California can finally have a well-running carpet recycling program that is convenient to use and well-publicized. We strongly support the staff recommendations on who should be on this committee. During the bill debate, the opposition did ask for a mill to be on this committee. And of course, we thought It makes no sense to be advising yourself. As Einstein said, you can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking that created them. We believe that the one mill appointment is enough. It is to advise the mills that run this program. And we want Eric Nelson with Interface to be appointed and agree with that appointment for the mill representative. Eric was absolutely outstanding. He tries his best to figure out how can we get this to work in California. That is the kind of thinking that we need and collaboration that we need. As you can tell from the comments made that we need another mill, that is exactly the thinking we don't need. We don't need any more naysayers. We can't, we can't, we can't. We need people who say we can, we can, we can. How do we do it? How are we going to get there? If there's a will, there's a way. We strongly support the appointment of this committee today as recommended by staff, and we greatly appreciate your time, so thank you very much.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Bob Peoples, the Executive Director of CARE. First, I guess my comments are a little bit more pragmatically focused since we are talking about January 8th, which is right around the corner after the new year. Has there been any thought given to the timing of the first meeting and some of the logistics? I wanted to make sure everybody's aware that CARE submitted sort of a proposed framework draft to help facilitate getting the committee up and running, which we're looking forward to working with. So has there been any consideration given to that at this point in time?
Yes, so we can absolutely talk about that a little more in our meeting this afternoon. We're definitely considering it, but as you know, CalRecycle doesn't intend to dictate the practices of the advisory committee, so we can talk more about how that'll work and make sure that everyone is aware of the time frame.
Got you, yeah. My big concern is that even if we're ready to go on the 8th, that, you know, to review a plan that this detailed and complex that's a pretty tall order, so.
Right, we do have the benefit of a lot of the appointees are very well familiar with the program and have been cognizant of everything that's been going on to date. So hopefully that's going to be a seamless transition from the voluntary to the permanent committee starting January 1st, and I don't expect any delays.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Bob.
Okay. Allison or Brenda, do you have any final comments on that? No? Is that me? Okay, so I'll go ahead and take a look at this. I understand the staff recommendation, and I have heard from the public, so I'll take this back, and I should have a decision out probably tomorrow. So, thanks. I think, Mark DeBee, are you the next item? No? Sorry. Who's next? What's next? Didn't we do the announcement on the workshop already? We did. Yeah. Okay, so. Oh, well, there you go. Mr. DeBee.
Since we did the workshop announcement, then I get the last item, I guess. That's under K. It's an informational update. Folks may recall on September 21st, 2017, the director referred Carpet America Recovery Effort, or CARE, to the Waste Evaluation Enforcement Branch staff to commence an enforcement evaluation on the California Carpet Stewardship Program annual report, dates January 2016 to December 2016. That was submitted by CARE on June 30th, 2017. As directed, the branch staff conducted the evaluation. The evaluation considered information within CARE's annual reports, quarterly reports, and other relevant documents, including information provided by the statewide Technical and Analytical Resources Branch. Based on the evaluation, branch staff have determined that CARE has not met the requirements of the law. Staff have prepared and submitted a statement of facts to CalRecycle's legal office with a recommendation that the department pursue civil penalties through an accusation for CARE's failure to meet goals and make continuous and meaningful improvement during the reporting year of 2016. The matter is currently with the legal office. That's the update. Any questions?
Thank you. Oh, there she is.
Evan Edgar, Edgar Associates. Under compliance and enforcement hearings, there's other actions being held on the compliance orders for mandatory commercial recycling. I went on the homepage yesterday and found some compliance orders against Merced, Commerce, Colton, and that's some things I haven't seen on the agenda before. They're being conducted and they're posted on your homepage. But it's the letter that you put out, Mr. Smith, line at the beginning of the year that enforcement can happen anytime, anywhere to all the jurisdictions. In January, that gave a lot of gravity in the industry in order to have these programs. And by having compliance hearings and by noticing them and having enforcement action against Colton and Commerce and these other cities and Oakdale sends a signal to the market that CalRecycle will be enforcing. It'd be nice to have these on the agenda item or have the status of how they move forward, because in the past, it used to be on the monthly agenda, and now they're just showing up. But that's good news. Keep up the good work. But if you can give the status of any future compliance orders, that would be important to know about.
Okay, thanks, Evan.
Yeah, thank you. I did think about giving an update on the last set of hearings, but you already mentioned the outcome. County of Merced was put on a compliance order. We were going to look at City of Oakdale. They provided some information. Staff's looking at that before deciding to proceed with a hearing relative to the City of Oakdale. So that's the update there. We'll do a better job on reporting on the outcomes of the hearings. We've been posting information items of when they're scheduled, and we'll do a better job of reporting the outcomes. Thank you.
Yeah, and having those type of letters go out to all the recycling coordinators and elected officials on the status of recycling enforcement and the natural sword and the disruption of the marketplace is important to have that type of information go out to all jurisdictions to know that CalRecycle is taking this seriously. Thanks.
Thanks for that follow-up comment. To your one sec, Nick. To your initial comment, certainly we take no joy in enforcement activity here. It's pretty much the most negative thing that we can do, but we have to do it when we have to do it, and we do understand that sometimes it's an important part of implementation of these policies, so we'll continue to enforce these rules. With respect to National Sword, we're actually in the process of generating a communication right now. So we can even have an offline conversation if you want, but we're in the process of generating a communication, which, I don't know, do you want to talk about the timing maybe?
Yeah, we'll be sending out a communication to jurisdictions and also LEAs on what we know about National Sword. We'll also be doing a short presentation at next month's public meeting with the latest exports data and some of what we've been hearing and different actions that the department can take.
Good morning, Nick Lapis with California Against Waste. I actually wanted to echo Evan's comments. I wanted to make a similar comment and just slipped my mind. Thank you for holding jurisdictions' feet to the fire when it comes to the commercial recycling. The legislation was passed in 2011. We're finally seeing some of the first compliance orders coming out. Obviously, there's a lot more we can do statewide. And so I think this enforcement will really speed up that process, but also set a precedent for 1826 and the enforcement on that as well. And I do echo Evan's suggestion to make this a regular update on the monthly agenda so that people are aware that you are actually taking this seriously and you are enforcing against jurisdictions. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. And it sounds like we can make that happen, right, Mark? Yeah, great. Okay, that's actually the last item on the agenda. So thank you very much. Oh, Mr. Peoples, you have a...
Thank you for the extra time today. I just wanted to take a minute to introduce J.C. Bolden, sitting back in the back of the room here. J.C. has committed to join CARE as our full-time program director for the carpet recycling program. So I wanted to give you all a chance to meet J.C. We're very excited to have her on board.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for coming, staff for presenting and preparing all these items. We'll see you again next month.